Okay, this video is in response to Tyler's video. So, first question is, what did the student learn about the definition of creativity that they didn't already know? Tyler learned how the definition of creativity even applies to his subtle day-to-day life, like when he's catching fish. He mentions how the entire process involves critical thinking skills and some trial and error for the best results. Now, I've never personally gone fishing myself, but it makes perfect sense that the more creative fisherman who's taking time into looking at his equipment, understanding where he is, the environment, and all of that, how they will be more effective when it comes to catching their fish. Next question is, which myth was most, or which myth surprised him the most? And Tyler was surprised that he was surprised by the myth that some people are born with more creativity than others. Now we are now more aware of the factors which attribute to our creativity, such as having an open mind and staying curious. But Tyler also mentions how he's learned how one's environment and background can have an impact on their creative growth as well. Next question is, what was the reason why the student thought the creativity was important to all companies and organizations? In his first example, he explains how the creativity is used in marketing by recalling an example from when he saw a billboard in his childhood. He's still able to remember it to this day because of its uniqueness and how it was able to catch his attention in a way that typical billboards don't normally do. And then also his second example was how they need creativity to bring people together to create a social change if they have an agenda for it. So his example was how the Tampa Alpha House has an Olympic-style social event where companies and families form teams to compete for good fun, but for for a greater objective of raising money to support victims of domestic abuse. All right, last question is, what was the real-world example that the student gave of the creative change process? And so Tyler mentioned the invention of the electric cars as his real-world example, and he recalls the initial societal skepticism surrounding it and how it eventually declined as creative changes throughout the entire automobile industry is now steering in the direction of a more environmentally friendly agenda. As a result, companies like Tesla are prototyping new electric cars, which puts pressure on companies to follow and compete for market share. We see this in how we have more charging areas, like electric charging stations. And then also one factor that he forgot to mention was the greater presence of the environmental pressure from carbon emissions in our media. We're more cognizant of its effects and doing more to prevent environmental deterioration and stuff like that. So, okay.